The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Muskovic.
Marko Muskovic is registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004, and at Wealth Strategy Partners, 677 Ala Moana Boulevard, Suite 720, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations.
And now your host, Marko Muskovic.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Muskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You are listening to Hawaii Money Resource every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. at 760 a.m. KGU or 95.1 FM. You can also hear us online at businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, or hawaiimoneyresource.com. So what do we do over here, Hawaii Money Resource? Since 2011, we interview quite a few, like I would say, hundreds of business owners and try to pick their brains. So you out there, if you're listening, you can learn something from someone else's experience. One wise person told me a long time ago that it's always cheaper if you learn from someone else's experience other than yours. So that's what we do. We try to learn from someone else's experience, try to educate you when it comes to the business. We are definitely pro-business. We want to make sure that you're getting all the ideas and all the information when it comes to running the business and staying in the business as entrepreneurs. So today is not going to be anything different. We have a good friend of ours, Rick Nakashima, partner from Ruby Tuesdays, Gyokaku, and Rainbow Driving. Did I mention them all? I mean, I know I have quite a few.
You got it all. Thank you. Good to be here.
Since we start talking to Rick 4 years ago, I think you grew, Rick, probably by 4 or 5 different locations.
Absolutely, yeah. The Gyokakus have been growing. We also did the last Ruby Tuesday in Kapolei. And, yeah, it's been a really good run. You know, Marko, it's fun. It's been up and down. And back up again, and back down again.
It's a roller coaster.
It's been a really, really interesting roller coaster ride, and I thank God and everybody around me that I've been able to experience it. A little bit rough at times, and then, you know, some really good high points. So,
since you're talking about this, I just want to make sure that maybe you will agree, maybe not, but when those rough time kick in, it's just a little reminder and refreshment and wake-up call so you don't fall asleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people tend to kind of like get relaxed when everything is nice and dandy.
I sure do.
Right?
I'd be the first to admit, Marko, you know, one of the facets of our business is I try and take care of decision-making for marketing. And when we're up, it really is on the back burner. Which is I would give... Right. You know, I'm not proud to say that, but it's the truth.
I think it's just a natural way how the people react.
It is. It really is. And right now, you know, we're scrambling for every bit of return on marketing we do, and it's really scrutinized between myself and my operators. And what are we going to do? What are we going to push? How much do we give away?
How to
Should
attract
we
more
coupon?
people?
Yeah.
So just for the people that know, like I believe everybody in Hawaii know what Ruby Tuesday is in and Gyokaku and Rainbow Driving. Like, just quickly tell us, like, what do you guys do for those that don't know?
Sure. Well, with Ruby's and Gyokaku, they're similar in a way in the terms of full-service restaurants. Of course, Ruby's is American casual dining. Gyokaku is yakiniku. I would say casual dining, little more upscale than Ruby Tuesday, but not a lot. Very, very comfortable for families to come into, where we have a tableside roaster. Mm-hmm. Rainbows, of course, the most iconic plate lunch name in Hawaii, out of Kapahulu, opened in 1961. Mm-hmm. We just got the franchise and have been open since May. So, you know, we've got a real spectrum of restaurants there, and you know, I'm real proud. We have a really excellent operations team. Lau Matsuoka oversees everything. For Rainbows, it's Sean Santiago. Ruby Tuesday, it's Eddie Arnold, and Min for Gyokaku right now. So, Yeah, we have a really, really great team.
So I guess you need a team for like 10 locations. We're going to talk about that in a starting second segment of the show. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. What's going on in your personal life? I mean, can it get busier than this?
Yeah, it can. It can, man, because luckily with that great team, it allows me to run off and go do a bunch of charitable work. So I'm so very proud of what we do. With Ruby Tuesday, we have a Giving Thanks program, 6 months out of Thanksgiving. So it's a play on words, and we feed the homeless. We cook out of our restaurants.
Someone is very excited over there to see you. Look, she's going crazy.
That's my favorite radio executive in the world. There,
she's probably the best radio executive in the world.
I love it, but it's great. We fed 5,000 homeless this past May, and we were actually underwritten by the Motivate Foundation, Marcus Mariota's foundation. So, they gave us a nice bit of money to buy all the food, and we supplied the labor, and the food went out to the IHS, River of Life, Holly Cow, all the major soup kitchens. And, Marco, you can't get a better feeling than that.
I believe so. I bet that's true. So we're going to talk more about it. What about you in personal life? What's going on? Do you
personal
do any sports?
Life, I love to golf. I'm not a good golfer.
No, you were talking about that earlier,
I'm proud that I'm a fun golfer. Mm-hmm. I like to go out there and be Mr. Hyde and take my cooler and my cigars and laugh and
so
have
everything other but a golf.
Everything but the golf. And luckily, I'm a good enough golfer to enjoy the sport. But I love it.
So I guess hobby. How do you manage your personal time? Since you have I know you have a team of people that helps, but still, how do you manage your personal time?
Well, luckily for me, it comes and goes. I've been real busy recently. I've worked quite a few days recently in a row, and then there are other days where the team's taking care of almost everything, and I'll have my home office email. I'll do in the morning. And then after that, there's been many a days, Marco, where I'm pretty free. Mm-hmm. So, I'll have
So it all depends on the project, right?
It depends on the project. It depends on the timing of what's going on with our company, and sometimes with the economy. When the economy was really good 2 years ago for us, there were times where I would think, boy, this is crazy. I feel like I'm almost retired. and again, it comes back to, well, maybe I should have been marketing a little harder. But we were doing so well.
Maybe you should write it down, note on a fridge, and to remind you for next time.
I think so. When the tide turns again, I got to come back here and sit down in front of you and have you whip that into me.
Perfect. Well, listen, appreciate you sharing about you, a little bit about business, what's going on. We're going to take our first break. Once we come back, we're going to dive into the business part. You're going to tell us a little bit about history, how this all started, and then we're going to see what's going on currently. Today's guest, Rick Nakashima, partner at Gyukaku, Ruby Tuesdays, and Rainbow Driving. Stay tuned. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mišković. We'll be right back.
.760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
We all want more time with our dads, brothers, partners, friends, and our sons. Time for more conversations, more catch-ups, more of what life's all about. Now is our time to make it happen. Together, we can stop men dying too young by tackling the big issues: prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, suicide. It's time to act. Sign up at Movember.com and raise funds to help change the face of men's health.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Any daughter would do the same. But soon enough, he needed help doing more things, and it was up to me to be his personal shopper and financial manager, too. And before I knew it, Dad moved in with me. So I became his cook, his personal assistant, his physical therapist, and even his nurse. When I started taking care of Dad, I didn't realize all the roles I'd have to play. But no matter what, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the many roles you play. And to help, we created an online caregiving resource center. At aarp.org/caregiving, you can find resources and connect with the caregiving community. Together, we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to learn more. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Once upon a time, there was a business owner who worked hard and watched his company flourish. Then came the time to sell his company and retire in Palm Beach. But the path to his happily ever after was full of pitfalls and monstrous taxes. Whatever was he to do?
It's not a fairy tale, and the wrong strategy can deprive you of a storybook ending. I'm Marko Mijušković, and I know about business valuation. I'm also a specialist in business exit, asset protection, and estate planning. Visit my website, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, and I promise you'll find more than just a trail of breadcrumbs.
BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com is an online resource designed to help you prepare for the final stage of your business's life cycle. At BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com, you'll have no trouble at all finding workshops, podcasts, videos, articles, and more. Your happily ever after is just a click away at BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com.
Every single year, millions of average Americans like you have their personal lives virtually destroyed. In an instant, you could lose control of your bank accounts, credit cards, and worse, your very reputation can be stolen and violated. If you or a loved one is a victim of identity theft, FastIDRecovery.com can help you get it all back. At FastIDRecovery.com, you can put your trust in experts in the field of credit score restoration, IRS fraud resolution, document and ID replacement, and more. Without a fully managed protection and restoration service like FastIDRecovery.com, it can take hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars to reclaim what identity thieves have stolen and fix the chaos they leave behind. Your peace of mind is as valuable as your assets, and FastIDRecovery.com will get everything back, including your sanity. Relief is a simple click away at FastIDRecovery.com. That's FastIDRecovery.com.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijušković. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijušković, Senior Partner and Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 760 a.m. on 95.1 FM. If you miss our show by any chance, I want to remind you that you can always go to Business Exit Planning Hawaii. That's our main website right now for all the radio resources. And of course, you can always go to Hawaii Money Resource and download the podcast. You can always subscribe to the podcast and hear it first when it's available online. So as soon as the show is aired, we have a podcast uploading next 24 hours so you can hear it. So if you missed the show, don't worry. You can always download the podcast and hear it again over and over. BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com. Business Exit Planning is also a good place for you to find out a little bit more how to run your business so one day you can exit that business in style. What does that mean? That means how you can sell your business for maximum amount and pay minimum taxes. There's a lot of stuff. You can read articles. We have press releases, white papers. You can even watch the videos from our previous events. We run a couple of events, big one, major one, twice a year. For all our business clients, business owner clients that can come in and see what they need to do and how they need to run their business so they can position it for successful transition either internally or externally. BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com. So let's go back to our guest today, Rick Nakashima. Rick is an old friend of ours. Rick is a partner or officially CEO of multiple location for Ruby Tuesdays, multiple location for Gyokaku, and as of just this year, one franchise of Rainbow Drive-In. Am I right?
Yep, you got that absolutely right, Marco. Thank you.
So Rick, I mean, like, you're just growing. Since we first time talked 4 years ago, this is just exploding over here, and you're like just adding more and more. But where is this all started? Like for people that don't know your story, what is your story? Where did your story begin?
Well, it started actually from my partner, Ted Davenport, getting the Subway franchise DA, developing agent for Subway. Mm-hmm. First he had stores, then he got the DA, And how I got involved was when he went to the bases and asked the military guys to put subways on. They told him, hey, we don't need fast food. We need you to go out there and find an Applebee's, a Bennigan's, some kind of casual dining and bring it in. There are not enough in Hawaii. And this is a good 15, 20 years ago, Marco, which was very true then. So Ted on vacation.
So he got an idea, I guess.
Yeah, he tells himself, yeah, well, let me go see what's out there. Ted travels a lot, found the Ruby Tuesday. I was landscaping. I had a landscape business at the time. And he said, you know, you got to check out this franchise I found. They're based out of Tennessee. They want a franchise. Let's go on up and check it out. So, you know,
you guys were friends from before?
Yeah, we started playing flag football together in 1971. We went to New Valley together, Kaiser High School together, UH together. Worked at the Hyatt Regency Waikiki together. He was a limo driver, and I was a concierge. So, you know, our paths have crossed from 1971. Anyway, we go up there, love the concept, and love the culture, which is really interesting, Marco, because now they've fallen on hard times. The corporation for Ruby Tuesday is hanging in there, but it isn't what it used to be. Thank God in Hawaii we're doing real well with our numbers and our culture, although, as we were talking earlier, Hawaii is not what it used to be 2 years ago with all the competition. Anyway, so Ted and I started up, and we've been in business now 14 and a half years. Mililani opened in 2004, and
is that first location?
That was our first location.
In 2004.
Yeah, and we later did 4 restaurants.
So this was franchise. This is what you say. Okay, so franchise. A lot of time, like, people are not really sure what franchise means, but like to a certain extent, it helps you start faster and quicker because you just need to follow the processes and procedures that are already in place.
Exactly. They told us many a time, we are not reinventing the wheel. We'll show you guys what works. We have a lot of efficiencies. We have also some buying power. When we open, Ruby Tuesday will send a team down of basically school teachers, waitress teachers, cook teachers, management, right? And they help us open, and they actually work in the restaurants to catch to make sure that we don't crash. Because every time you open in Hawaii, you know you're going to get that big crowd.
Right. So, opening is always like everybody comes in the first month.
Yeah. And it's so neat. You know, Marco, some of these people they've sent down to us are just unbelievably talented workers / teachers, which is what really helps out an opening, right? Because you're training so many people. And even though I have a really good team of managers, I wouldn't call them all good teachers. You know, there's a big difference.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like coaching. Mm-hmm. A good coach isn't necessarily a good athlete.
Leading or managing, right?
Yeah. So,
2004 first location open. Just give us a quickly, snapshot of the last 15 years.
Yeah. Well, we had 4 Ruby Tuesdays open by 2006. By October, by Halloween of 2006, we opened Moanalua. That was our 4th. And then we straggled along for the 5th and 6th. Later on, went back down to 5 as Ala Moana closed. Reason we closed there, our 10 years were up with general growth. The lease rent was up very high, and they wanted more. And we tried to bargain with them and stay there, but it didn't work out. The talks didn't work out.
When the locations were opening up, just from the business point of view, how you were determining first, need to open a next location, and second, how do you position the next location? How do you find the place where that next location will be?
You know, there's
because it's a general question for a lot of business owners, regardless. Every time you run a retail, is how do you know that you're ready for next one, and how do you know where to put it?
Yeah, exactly, Marco. And I think that question would be really hard for me to answer because there's Ted involved a lot, and there's realtors telling us where they think we should go. The landlords, the McNaughton Group, they're reaching out to Ted and I saying, hey, we got this great shopping center in Kapolei coming up, Kapolei Commons. We really want you guys in there. Well, that kind of pushes us in there because we know we like dealing with the McNaughton Group. They're telling us they're doing this great shopping center with anchors like Target. So, we kind of trail on their coattails.
Okay, so locations is then determined by like availability and potential for new revenues.
Absolutely.
And is there any rules how far from each store you want to be?
We don't really have rules per se for ourselves. Sometimes within, like for our rules with some of the leases, they will say you cannot open another restaurant within a 5-mile radius, or there will be a mileage radius, because of course that would dilute them and us, and they've given us TI money to build. Right. For the most part, when we go into somewhere, the landlords are putting up some pretty good money for us to get in there, and then we're putting up good money to stay there. So it's hopefully a win-win for both of us.
And how do you find out when is the time for next store?
I don't know that we have a real formula, but when we meet, we talk about what's going on. Right now with the economy and the labor pool, I don't think we would even bring it up with each other about building another place.
So it's all determined by how's the business
exactly.
in general.
I think, Marco, right now you could just about hand us a restaurant and we'd be thinking twice about opening it. Yeah, it's a rough market.
So we're gonna talk about as is in a next segment of our show, because you said it's a rough market, and we're gonna find out why it's a rough market and how's this affecting you in your overall growth. But in a past, like Ruby Tuesday was the first chain, if I can call it that way, and then Gyokaku, how they came online.
Yeah, again, Ted would like going to Kapiolani and found out that they were willing to franchise. He spoke to them.
Oh, you're talking about the Kapiolani Gyokaku?
Yeah, that is a corporate store.
Okay.
That one and Lures are the two corporate stores, and I believe Kapiolani was the first franchise in America from Japan. There's about 700 Gyokakus in Japan. They're all over. And now they're really growing in North America. But they came to Hawaii first. Raines Corporation got set up, and then they went down to Southern California. Now they are in Vancouver, Texas, Florida, Chicago, New York. They've really spread around. So it's a very successful franchise food-wise, and their numbers are good versus some other places, the Applebee's and Bennigan's. Those places are becoming dinosaurs.
Right, I guess people are looking for something new. The trends are shifting.
Yeah.
People's appetite is changing.
Exactly.
Okay, so when did the Gyokaku came online?
Our first Gyokaku was in 12, in Windward Mall. And then we went to Mililani next in 16 and Kapolei in 17. Yeah, and now we are just about ready to open Kalihi on this corner of School and Hufftailing, our fourth Gyokaku here in October of 18.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
it's a beautiful restaurant. Exciting. Very exciting. It'll seat about 120 people, so it's not a big restaurant.
Okay.
But it's beautiful, Marco.
So you're making it like more... So it's a good point. Like, say, seating 120 people... In which point you become profitable? Like how many seats you need to have for you to kind of like break even with the cost? Like, do you run the calculation like that? Or,
no, I have a CFO. Brian Muranaka is my CFO, and he'll before we sign a lease, he'll go over the numbers and run the projections, and of course you can make the projection into anything you want. So we try and really be,
truthful to yourself.
Truthful and even a
little bit negative.
Negative, exactly. So I don't really know how to answer your question, how many people it takes, because I think, relative to the space, depending on the lease you get, if we get a lease from some of the negative people we've dealt with that we're no longer with, you have to turn tables and really keep cranking to make
So
break
it all
even.
depends on your overhead.
Right. Versus, we have some really good leases with the McNaughton Group, with Bishop Estate Kamehameha Schools, where it isn't
More flexible, friendlier.
Yeah, exactly. More partnerships, and thus we both can make money.
Well, just off the topic now, since you're talking about that, is there any reason why some people are running it differently than the others when it comes to these leases and the partners that you guys dealing with?
Yeah, my feeling,
because you couldn't renew the lease. You could renew the lease in Alamo and I stay there.
But we could have. We would have just had to pay more, and we already, the CAM kept going up, and that's a thing that the landlords have power on, that they control. And, the CAM takes into account everything, the common area maintenance, the electricity, the charges for the people working there, security. They kept raising it, Marco. Next thing you knew, I'm not embarrassed to say we're paying $40,000 a month there, and we only had a little over 4,000 square feet.
So it wasn't like sustainable.
No. So, I don't know. I don't know how much they really wanted out of us to stay, but at 40, it was already, the classic line of we're working for them. Yeah, because we were doing a really good number there out of that restaurant. We were doing about $3.5 million, which for 100 and I believe we had 170 seats. That's a very successful,
pretty busy restaurant,
very successful restaurant, and we were just making it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the restaurants are adding. You guys are growing as a team. Like looking back, like right now, since you doing this since 2004, was this a good choice? Partnering up with Ted and going this route?
It was a great choice, Marco. It's
do you have any regrets?
No regrets at all. Yeah, because when I was landscaping, I really was happy. I led a real peaceful life, but I wasn't really challenged mentally, and it was physically hard. Well, this is the opposite for me. I'm challenged mentally a lot. There's a lot of challenges really with my personality, with dealing with people, with making sure, that I represent our corporation the right way, dealing with people and being
you need to be more aware
of
everything.
Yeah, and holding a line and yet trying to be a nice guy and not trying and not getting ugly with situations where sometimes it's real easy to. You can start getting uptight and I'm pretty proud, Marco. I rarely lose it. And it's real easy to, I think, for a lot of people.
But it's definitely not that is not stressful. You do have stress.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Yeah.
A lot of meditation.
The best thing for me, the best thing really is my dogs. I just am a big animal lover, and when I take them for a walk and I'm out with them, it grounds me. And we go back in my valley, which I call the boonies. It's desolate land. It's a natural preservation behind my house, and it really grounds me. I walk through an ancient Hawaiian village, and I really feel peaceful.
Just for people that have no clue, where is this?
It's in the back of Hawaii Kai in Kamilo Nui Valley. There's nurseries back there. Henry J. Kaiser used to have a factory back there. So I walk on this road that he cut next to the ridge that goes way back in the valley. So that's where our dog walks are often. So,
just to tag on the question that I asked earlier, was that a good decision on your part, starting all this with Ted back in the days? Will you do something different now when you know what's going on? When you reflect last 14, 15 years, will you do differently?
No, I don't think so. I think I'd go through all the things, same mistakes even. We had 2 Ruby Tuesdays in Southern California that lost all kinds of money, that were never successful. But the beautiful thing on that, Marco, is we were partnered with Junior Seau, and it was some of the greatest times of my life. The guy was a joy to be around, loved him, and some of those experiences were worth the financial losses. As crazy as that sounds, I would do it again in a heartbeat.
So everything that happened in the last 14, 15 years actually made you where you are right now.
Exactly. It made me realize that it's not always all about money. There's a lot more to this, and that's
especially
why
in Hawaii, right?
Oh yeah, that's why I love doing the charitable stuff. Marco. Like this Friday, I'll be in the CEO sleep out for the Salvation Army. Rick Blangiardi's heading it up, and we're going to tag along with other CEOs and sleep over Friday night and raise money for the Salvation Army. I'm real proud. I think I'm leading the pack. I've raised somewhere around $3,500 for
so it's
that
like
night.
a little competition between you guys.
It is for me because I want to make sure, you know, I'm asking my Facebook friends all to help out, and they have, and then the next night there's a big dinner for the IHS. It's their 40th anniversary. So my wife and I, before we buy a whole table, my wife and I are going. Renee and I are going with a couple seats and support them.
Perfect.
And you know, I think with everything we've just said, with all the ups and downs and seeing everything, dealing with people with a lot of money and seeing the people out there without them, it's I've grown a lot that way, and I've really I don't go to church, but I've really become very thankful to God on what He's shown me and where I've been able to land.
The path He chose for you.
Yeah, I've been very lucky, Marco.
Rick, why don't we take another break? Today's guest is Rick Nakashima, a partner CEO of Ruby Tuesdays, Gyokaku, and Rainbow Driving. My name is Marko Miushkovic. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more.
Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth.
760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
What great snapshots.
Oh, it was a great trip. I couldn't have done it a few years ago. I had such pain in my legs back then.
What was wrong?
Peripheral arterial disease, or PAD, clogged arteries in the legs. It slows you down and raises your risk of heart attack and stroke, especially if you're over 50. But now I'm being treated, and I'm back where I want to be, on the road again. Hey, take a look at this shot.
Take steps to learn about PAD. Go to www.aboutpad.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Everybody buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. Everybody buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. Everybody buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Can we get some ice cream?
Everybody buckle up.
Everybody buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but remember, you're in control. Stand firm. Only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every single year, millions of average Americans like you have their personal lives virtually destroyed. In an instant, you could lose control of your bank accounts, credit cards, and worse, your very reputation can be stolen and violated. If you or a loved one is a victim of identity theft, FastIDRecovery.com can help you get it all back. At FastIDRecovery.com, you can put your trust in experts in the field of credit score restoration, IRS fraud resolution, document and ID replacement, and more. Without a fully managed protection and restoration service like FastIDRecovery.com, it can take hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars to reclaim what identity thieves have stolen and fix the chaos they leave behind. Your peace of mind is as valuable as your assets, and FastIDRecovery.com will get everything back, including your sanity. Relief is a simple click away at FastIDRecovery.com. That's FastIDRecovery.com.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marco Muscovich. If you'd like to speak to Marco, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marco Muscovich, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 760 KGU AM or 95.1 FM. Hawaii Money Resource online, hawaiimoneyresource.com, and also Business Exit Planning, hawaii.com. For those people that are running the business and they are looking to transfer the business internally to their members of the management or partners or all of the employees, that's a good resource because you can find all the good articles and white papers to read and see what is it that you're facing when you're going down the path of exiting and transferring the business, all the pitfalls that you should be aware, and all the taxes that you will pay when it comes to the transfer. BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com. Okay, let's go back to our guest today, our good friend of ours, Rick Nakashima, partner CEO of Ruby Tuesdays, Gyokaku, and Rainbow Drive-In. Rick, you know, the restaurant business is tough business. And, you know, we all know that. And statistics are saying, and people are, you know, talking over the years. What makes the successful restaurant business exist, and how people should run the restaurant business? Let's talk about that for a moment. And then we're going to switch and talk about what's going on right now with the restaurants, with the overall restaurant industry, and how you guys getting affected.
Sure. I think the keys to success, Marco, is having a good product and putting it out there to the guests in the correct way. Making sure obviously you have a clean restaurant, you're cooking your food correctly, you know, holding to your health standards, and then treating your guests correctly. You know, I'm always telling people how I had one of the worst experiences at a restaurant as far as ordering. They were out of everything, but the server was so good. He was such a great communicator, and he seemed very, very sincere that I left that place happy.
And you will go back?
I would go back there in a heartbeat. I haven't. It's on an outer island. I would go back there in a heartbeat. And it was because of that one kid, you know, and it could have been the worst experience in the world because they literally had nothing I wanted originally.
They ran out the menu.
Yeah, so then I finally asked him, I said, hey, you got to tell me, did your managers just mess up on the orders, or did you guys get so slammed today that you ran out of all these things? And he looked at me, and I don't think he really knew, but he goes, I think it was a little bit of both.
It's a combination.
The kid was just great. He was but that's what you need. You need to take care of the people. You need to make them happy, and it comes in many different ways, right? And then we as owners have to treat our people the right way, which I'm really, really proud of, Mark. I hope if you were to go in and ask any of our workers how do they feel they're treated by the restaurant, the managers, the owners, I hope they'll all tell you the same thing. They like working for Ruby's, Gyokaku.
So is it true if I say that people, the front people, meaning the servers and people, the waiters and waitresses that work in the restaurant, they're actually a reflection of the management?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you have a negative manager, it trickles right down, and you'll lose good people. People will be unhappy. It trickles down. It makes a big difference. It's exactly like sports. If you don't have a good coach, even if you have good athletes, they aren't going to perform well. It happens. I've seen it happen often. Right now, I have an excellent team, and it's kept us through these negative, hard times, chugging along really well.
How big is your team?
We have, give or take, 650 people for all 10 restaurants.
Whew.
Yeah, so we're a very large small business. Yeah, we have pro service taking care of all our employees and payroll and benefits and health, and it's a pretty enormous. Our payroll for Ruby's every other week is about $300,000. So yeah, we're very large that way, and unfortunately, that doesn't translate to my bank account.
So do you still get into a situation that you get paid last?
Yeah, I do. But recently, we've been doing fine that way, no complaints. But and when we started, oh my gosh, Marco, I did not get a penny for a long time. I put in all the money I had. Thank God I had got an inheritance. I put all of it into Ruby Tuesday, and it took a long time to see any of that back.
Turn a corner.
It felt so good when it started coming back, though. Yeah, so
did you feel accomplished?
Yeah, well, I did. And the first big bonus, I took my wife Renee and my 2 kids Rico and Tia on a around the island cruise, and I splurged and got a big suite, and it was great. And we don't splurge a lot. We don't live extremely high on the hog. We have a nice home, but it's not over the top, and we live very comfortably, and yet we're not really living super big. And it felt so good to do that back then.
So let's go talk about what's going on today. We talk about that the restaurant industry, it's cyclical, so it goes through cycles. You have a good times, you have bad times, you have slow time, you have a busy times, you have a seasons per year. Everything is like seasonal as well. You have a Christmas and holidays are coming. People are more out, eating out, doing the shopping, spending times in restaurants. Then you have a summertime and everybody's going somewhere, nobody's here. So how do you position it? And what are you guys going through right now? I know that times are a little bit different now because of the more players in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, Marco. We're in a really tough time now with sales down, with all the competition. All my restaurant friends are telling me they're give or take 10-15 points down, and on
a slim margin, that's already a big hit.
Yeah, that'll close up some of the restaurants that you've seen close up and heard about closing up. If you're not managing your restaurant well, and then all of a sudden you lose 10-15% of your gross, there's a great chance you're going to close. The other thing that's the worst areas that have hit us are Kapolei, where we were doing extremely well. And then the shopping center opened, Kamakana-Li'i. They have over 30 restaurants in that shopping center, at least on their
well, is there maybe a shopping mall management wrong thing, the mistake? Why do you put so many restaurants in one shopping mall?
I believe it is, Marco, but I'm not one to start telling anybody with deep pockets what to do, right? Di Bartolo owns that place, and I'm not really sure who's managing and making those decisions, but I agree. I think because I know for a fact quite a few of the restaurants in there are not doing well. Cheesecake Factory's crushing everybody. I think CPK's doing very well. After that, I'm not sure how many restaurants are doing fairly well, and I know a lot of them are hurting bad. And some have already closed up. So that affected us a few miles away at Kapolei Commons. We feel like we're rebounding a little bit, but nothing like we were 2 years ago before they opened.
So are you saying the more competition came in the neighborhood now is splitting the same amount of people that live there now is getting diluted?
Absolutely. There's no question. We went into an underserved neighborhood, and we're just doing unbelievably well. And now there's just too many restaurants for the amount of roofs. Yeah.
Right. So amount of people is growing, but not at the same pace.
Not even close. And in general too, Marco, I've heard. I think KHON said that 40 people a day are leaving Oahu. We're finally shrinking by 40 a day, and our Moanalua restaurant, for instance, we've lost about 5 really good cooks to Vegas. And that's just in the past year, or less than a year maybe.
So I guess people are not making enough money here. So its cost of living is really high. Employment is really tight. They need to go somewhere else.
Absolutely. Vegas, you get food for probably 30% to 40% of what it's here at the grocery stores.
Housing
is probably about the same thing, right?
30 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think the pay scales are very similar, but I don't know that for a fact, but I think they're quite similar. A hotel job here is similar to a hotel job there as a cook or as a worker, I think. I don't want to say that, though I haven't done research on that, but I do know that it's easier living over there, and that's why we're losing people.
How do you find new people?
Because
that's another competition you're fighting, because everybody's going after the same people.
Yeah, it's terrible. Cheesecake came in and started recruiting our people, and we're paying them a lot of money, and a lot more money than we are. I heard they were paying them $19 an hour, and we can't pay $19 an hour. I wish we could. So yeah, they stole a lot of good people.
Plus, in Kapolei area, there's not so many kids live there.
No, there's only so much of a pool to work from. Luckily, we've hung in there quite well. My general manager Panas told me we're doing okay on staffing now, but it's not easy, and it's a problem. It's a problem, Marco, I worry about across the board for Hawaii in general. We don't have enough labor, I feel like, for us being a service industry. Tourism, right now in Waikiki, there are a lot of housekeepers ready to retire. And I don't know who's going to replace them. So the writing on the wall is frightening to me for our basic labor pool.
And it's not a destination. Hawaii is not a destination where you can import the labor from somewhere else. Because cost is too high.
Cost is too high. And even if we were to bring people in, because we've talked about this, we brought people in from Indonesia before we opened Moanalua, because it was a little bit of a crunch then. And we put them up for 6 months, but we can't do that now, housing-wise and hotel-wise and everything. And with
Rick, is it a time for you to open a hotel?
It's time. I think it's time for me to get a tent and travel off to the mainland somewhere in a Winnebago, and But it is an interesting time, Marco. Everyone in business will keep telling you the same thing. We just can't find help. So it's a tough time right now. Thank God we're chugging along and we're hanging in there, and we're very well established. And the biggest thing I'm thankful for is when we were doing well 2 years ago, we paid off all our debt for Rubies.
So now there's no liability expense.
We're totally debt free.
Let me ask you this: how do you learn from this moment? How do you learn so next time this cycle turns around and you start again become comfortable again? What do you do to prevent yourself getting into this same position? How do you learn?
I think just through memory and experience, because I think I've been pretty good at remembering my past mistakes and not making them twice. And yet, right now, we're in a different negative than before. The last negative was when the
2008
money crunch hit.
Mm-hmm.
So people weren't spending. Well, this is different. People are spending, but I didn't realize that everyone was going to open a restaurant 2 years ago and hurt us that way. It really hit me by surprise, Marco. All of a sudden, I'm finding out that there's 20 restaurants opening in Kamakanali'i, and International Marketplace is opening up 15 restaurants, and it really hit me by surprise. But it happened when we were doing so well, so it makes sense.
In which point you decide to close the restaurant? I mean, we talk about opening the restaurant. In which point you will call in and say, well, we need to shut down the restaurant?
Yeah, that's a real rough one, because we have liabilities with the lease for X amount of years. Most of our leases are 10 years, and then we have 5-year options, and
to renew.
So if we were to stop, we still would owe the money on the lease, or we'd be liable for that money on the lease. So like in California, that was the negative. We stopped before our leases were
So you still
due.
need to pay the lease.
Still need to pay it or negotiate out of it, and the bank loans, and it was a real mess over there.
So it's kind of like double-edged sword. Like you want to have a long lease so it can be so you have a predictable overhead, but then on the flip side, long lease can be negative in case that the business is not doing well.
Oh, absolutely! It can be the death of a business. Yeah.
Okay, Rick, let's take our last break for today. Rick Nakashima, partner CEO, Ruby Tuesdays, Gyokaku, and Rainbow Driving. My name is Marko Miushkovic. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For
at
those
5.
caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
People put a lot of thought into going into business, but not so much into how they'll get out, which makes it easy to get stuck. That's why Marko Muscovich handpicks a team of lawyers, accountants, tax, and industry specialists to help you make your business exit plan. You get yourself into business, Marko will help you get out. Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS, OSJ 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, 10004, 1-888-600-4667. Securities, products, and advisory services offered through PAS, member FINRA, SIPC, financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Guardian, New York, New York, PAS is an indirect wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Wealth Strategy Partners, LLC is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. 2015-09890.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Muscovich. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Muscovich, senior partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also certified exit planner. You are listening to Hawaii Money Resource every Wednesday night, 5 to 6 p.m., 7:60 a.m. or 95.1 FM. Hawaii Money Resource online at businessexitplanninghawaii.com or hawaiimoneyresource.com. Today's guest is Rick Nakashima, partner CEO of Ruby Tuesdays, Gyokaku, and Rainbow Drive in multiple locations, I think combined, with new openings around 10 locations. Crazy. But it's true. I don't know how you, Rick, how you're doing all this stuff and still sleep at night with all 650 people that works combined for you guys. It's just unbelievable. And that's large payrolls every 2 weeks. It's just crazy. But anyway, you mentioned earlier that you guys doing a lot of charitable events and charitable work. Let's talk about that. For a few minutes before we finish today's show.
I'm so very proud of what we do charity-wise. I think Hawaii is the worst homeless state in the nation. And the thing that a lot of people will automatically say is, well, these people are lazy, they this, they that. Well, what a lot of those people don't understand is some of these people don't have family. They've had some bad luck. Yes, they may have made a few bad decisions, but they're real close to get back into society and becoming part of society and being just like you and me, Marko. When you talk with some of these people, they are on the ball. They don't have drug and alcohol problems. They've just had some bad luck and really may not have had family to turn on. So we're able to help them through the Salvation Army, through the IHS. And it's what I'm proud of most is some of our charitable money goes to that. The other thing I really like to help out with is PBS and HPR because I've always felt education will keep people from being in these bad positions. So that's another thing we're proud supporters of. Leslie Wilcox over at PBS does a great job of lifelong learning. And she and Robert Penneback are very good friends of mine, and I love the fact that we really helped them out.
Rick, we have a minute and so left, just 20 seconds. How are you going to get out of all this? Are they going to wheel you out, or are you going to get out on your own?
At some point. Well, what might be best, we have all our Keyman life insurance policy, so what might be best if I get wheeled out. My wife and kids will be doing real well. Yeah, so at least that's the positive thing for that. There's always something positive. But at some point, it's always anyone's, I think, just about anyone's goal to sell. We just haven't come across the right time. It sure isn't the right time now, or the right people.
Right,
exactly.
Right. So, word of wisdom, just 10 seconds for someone getting into the business. What suggestion you will give them?
I would say know the business, know exactly what you're getting into, know what leases you're dealing with. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. And you're always really positive going into something. Try not to be. Try to be a little negative. Just try to have someone scrutinize it.
Be realistic and have someone else look at it from the outside.
Exactly.
Today's guest, Rick Nakashima. Rick, thank you so much for being guest at Hawaii Money Resource.
Loved it, Marco. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Rick Nakashima, partner CEO of Ruby Tuesdays, Gyokaku, and Rainbow Driving. My name is Marko Miushkovic. Another great show. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Do not change the channel. We'll be right back.
The Living Balance Sheet and the Living Balance Sheet logo are registered service marks of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. The graphics and text used herein are the exclusive property of Guardian and protected under U.S. and international copyright laws. Copyright 2005 to 2011. The Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations. Marko Miushkovic is a registered representative and financial advisor for Park Avenue Securities, LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, 10004. Securities products, services, and advisory services are offered through Park Avenue Securities, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor. 888-600-4667. Financial representative, the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. Park Avenue Securities is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Wealth Strategy Partners is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Park Avenue Securities or the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Park Avenue Securities is a member FINRA SIPC.